Imagine for a moment that the world has finally fallen quiet, and the frantic noise of your daily life has faded into a rare, absolute silence. You are sitting alone in your room, perhaps lost in thought or simply resting, when it happens. A voice, as clear and distinct as that of a friend standing right beside you, speaks your name. It isn't a whisper of the wind or a trick of the acoustics, it is a resonance that vibrates within your very soul, causing a sudden chill to race down your spine and your heart to skip a beat. You turn around, expecting to find someone there, but the room remains empty, bathed in the same stillness as before. This chilling yet profound experience is one of the most powerful hooks the spiritual world uses to grab our attention, pulling us out of the trance of material reality and into a deeper realization of the unseen life that surrounds us. According to the timeless teachings of Allan Kardec and the high-level spirits who guided his work, this event is far from a hallucination or a glitch in the brain. It is an intentional signal, a breach in the veil between the physical and spiritual realms, and a direct proof that you are part of a much larger, eternal family that never stops watching over you. Today, we step beyond the cold explanations of science and explore the warm spiritual truth of why these entities choose to call you by name, revealing that you are never truly alone and that every silence holds the potential for a divine conversation. To understand why a voice can manifest in a silent room, we must first accept the fundamental reality that life does not end with the decay of the physical body. According to the insights shared by higher intelligences, we are immersed in a vast, invisible ocean of fluidic energy that connects all planes of existence. The world we perceive with our five senses is merely a tiny fragment of the totality of life. Surrounding us are planes of varying vibrations, where spirits continue their journey of evolution, learning, and service. When you hear your name called, it is often a deliberate manipulation of these fluidic energies by a spirit who wishes to bridge the gap between their vibration and yours. This is not a supernatural occurrence in the sense of being outside of nature, but rather a demonstration of natural laws that science is only beginning to glimpse. These spirits are often drawn to us by the law of affinity, where our thoughts, emotions, and moral quality act as a beacon, inviting those who resonate with our frequency to approach. When the conditions are right, usually when we are in a state of relative calm or when the spiritual atmosphere is clear, the spirit can produce a percussive or auditory effect that vibrates within our psychic perception, which our brain then interprets as an external sound. This link proves that the dead are more alive than we realize, participating in our lives with a degree of intimacy that would be overwhelming if we perceived it all at once, and these auditory calls serve as gentle reminders of this constant companionship. The spirits teach that our daily lives are governed by a spiritual atmosphere of our own making, a constellation of vibrations created by our desires, fears, and habitual thoughts. This is known as the law of affinity, which dictates that like attracts like across the dimensions. When you experience the phenomenon of hearing your name, it is essential to consider the state of your inner self at that moment. Spirits of higher evolution and benevolent intent approach those who strive for moral progress, offering encouragement and signs of their presence through peaceful and comforting manifestations. Conversely, if one dwells in anger, bitterness, or materialistic obsession, they may attract less evolved spirits who seek to disturb or confuse. However, hearing your name in a neutral or positive context is almost always the work of those who love you or those assigned to protect you. These entities utilize your dormant mediumistic sensitivity, which everyone possesses to some degree, to initiate a contact that bypasses the limitations of speech. They are not ghosts in the frightening sense depicted by folklore, but travelers who have crossed the threshold and wish to confirm that their affection for you remains unchanged. By refining our character and maintaining a high moral vibration through acts of charity and forgiveness, we ensure that the voices we hear are those of wisdom and light, creating a harmonious exchange between our earthly walk and the spiritual guides who cheer for our success. Every soul that incarnates upon this earth is granted a protector, a faithful friend often referred to as a guardian angel or spiritual mentor. These are superior spirits who have volunteered to accompany us through the labyrinth of human existence, offering guidance, strength, and silent warnings. When you hear your name called in an empty room, it is frequently the dramatic intervention of this protector. They may perceive a danger that your physical senses have missed, or perhaps you are at a crossroads where a specific decision will alter the course of your destiny. Because they respect our free will, they rarely interfere directly, yet they use these auditory signals as a psychic alarm to snap us out of our lethargy and force us to pay attention to our intuition. They are like navigators on a ship, seeing the hidden rocks beneath the surface while the captain is distracted by the horizon. If you feel a sudden urge to change your path, to check a door, or to abandon a destructive thought immediately after hearing your name, know that it is the manifestation of an intelligence that loves you with an unconditional devotion. They have watched you since your first breath and will be there for your last, and their call is a testament to the fact that you are a precious child of the universe, worthy of celestial attention and constant, loving supervision. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the spiritualist teachings is the understanding that mediumship is not a miraculous gift reserved for a few chosen mystics, but a natural physiological and psychic faculty inherent to the human spirit. Just as some individuals possess a more acute sense of hearing or vision, some have a more transparent psychic membrane that allows for the perception of spiritual vibrations. Hearing your name being called is a rudimentary form of clairaudience, a spontaneous activation of your internal spiritual senses. This sensitivity is often dormant during the rush of daily activities, buried under the weight of material concerns and the noise of the ego. However, in moments of solitude, prayer, or meditation, this faculty can become active. It is important to view this not as something to be feared, but as a biological and spiritual function that serves to link the incarnate soul back to its origins. We are all mediums in potential, and these experiences are the first steps toward a greater awareness of our dual nature. By acknowledging this ability without pride or fear, we begin to train our perception to distinguish between the various signals we receive, eventually learning to hear not just our name, but the profound inspirations and moral directives that the spirit world constantly broadcasts to those who have ears to hear. The pain of bereavement is often centered on the belief that death is a final separation, but the spiritual reality paints a very different picture. Those we have loved and lost do not disappear into a void. They transition into a state of higher clarity, where their love for us is amplified. The most common reason for hearing your name called is the attempt by a departed family member or friend to offer comfort and assurance of their continued existence. They are aware of our grief and our struggles, and they often seek moments when our guard is down to deliver a sign that says, "I am here and I still love you." This communication is an act of supreme mercy, allowing the bereaved to find the strength to continue their earthly mission. They do not wish to haunt us, but to encourage us, functioning as an invisible support system. When the voice you hear carries a familiar cadence or evokes a sense of deep warmth, it is an authentic visiting card from the other side. This interaction proves that the ties of the heart are stronger than the dissolution of the flesh, and that the family unit often extends across the dimensions, working together for the mutual progress of both the incarnate and discarnate members. The noise of modern life is a significant barrier to spiritual perception. During the daylight hours, the human brain is bombarded with visual and auditory stimuli that demand immediate attention, forcing our consciousness to remain tethered to the external world. However, as the world settles into the silence of the night, specifically during the madrugada or early morning hours, the spiritual atmosphere undergoes a shift. The collective psychic noise of humanity diminishes, and our individual bodies enter a state of repose that allows our spiritual self to detach slightly from the physical shell. It is in this profound quietude that we become most receptive to the subtle whispers of the unseen. Spirits find it easier to manifest their presence when the environmental static is low. If you find yourself waking up suddenly or hearing a call in the depth of the night, recognize that your soul is currently in its most sensitive state, acting as a clean mirror that can reflect the vibrations of the higher planes. Cultivating moments of intentional silence through the day can also help in sharpening this receptivity, making us less reliant on the dramatic calls of the night and more attuned to the constant, quiet guidance that is available when we learn to quiet the clamor of the world. Not every sensation or sound can be attributed to a superior spiritual source, and the teachings of Allan Kardec emphasize the need for rigorous discernment and reason. Spirits exist at various levels of enlightenment, and just as there are people of different characters on earth, so too are there varying personalities in the spirit world. However, there is a distinct emotional signature that accompanies manifestations from high-level spirits. A genuine call from a benevolent entity or a loved one always carries with it a sense of profound peace, dignity, and a weightless comfort. It never induces terror, panic, or a desire to act immorally. If you hear your name and feel an instantaneous calm wash over you, as if the very air has become sacred, you can be certain of the presence of light. In contrast, manifestations that lead to doubt, confusion, or fear are often the product of our own overactive imagination or the proximity of less evolved suffering spirits who require our prayers rather than our attention. By learning to observe our internal emotional reaction to these phenomena, we develop a spiritual compass that allows us to navigate these experiences with safety and wisdom, ensuring that we only open the doors of our heart to that which elevates and heals. The act of prayer is far more than a religious ritual. It is a dynamic act of spiritual will that reorganizes our personal fluidic field. When we pray with sincerity and humility, we project a line of force into the spiritual dimensions that acts as an invitation to spirits of high vibration. It creates a protective aura, a kind of spiritual shield that prevents lower, disturbing entities from approaching our psychic space. If you hear your name called, responding with a silent, heartfelt prayer of gratitude is the most effective way to validate the experience and deepen the connection. This magnetic response signals to your guides that you are receptive and aware. Prayer also serves to raise our own vibration, moving us out of the heavy energies of worry or fear and into the lighter frequencies of faith and hope. By establishing a habit of nightly prayer, we effectively patrol our own environment, ensuring that our home remains a sanctuary where manifestations are always filtered through the lens of divine protection and where only those spirits who come in the name of love and progress are welcome to make their presence known. Hearing your name is rarely an isolated event. It is often the precursor to a flood of intuitive insights. Once a spirit has successfully captured your attention through an auditory call, they utilize the resulting state of heightened awareness to transmit thoughts, ideas, or solutions directly into your consciousness. This is the phenomenon of inspired thought, where you suddenly realize the answer to a problem that has plagued you for days, or you feel a renewed sense of purpose and direction. These insights are the real treasure behind the auditory signal. The voice is the knock on the door, but the inspired thoughts that follow are the message. It is vital to pay close attention to the quality of your internal monologue in the minutes following such an experience. These are the moments when your mentors are speaking heart to heart with your soul, bypassing the ego to plant seeds of wisdom that will help you fulfill your earthly duties. By documenting these insights or reflecting on them deeply, you transform a fleeting auditory mystery into a practical roadmap for spiritual and personal growth, proving that the unseen world is actively invested in your success. The phenomenon of hearing your name called in the silence is a profound gift that strips away the cold mask of materialism and reveals the warm, pulsating heart of a universe that is alive with spirit and purpose. It is a reminder that death is a door, not a wall, and that the love we cultivate here on earth is the only currency that retains its value across the threshold of eternity. Through the lens of the spiritualist teachings, we see that we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, mentors, friends, and family who are dedicated to our well-being. This knowledge should not inspire fear, but rather an indomitable courage to face the trials of life, knowing that we have powerful, invisible allies by our side. The voice in the silence is a call to live more deeply, to love more fiercely, and to remain humble in the face of the great mysteries of creation. As you move forward, carry the certainty that you are a cherished part of a vast, interconnected family, and that whenever you feel the heavy burden of solitude, you need only listen with your heart to hear the echo of those who watch over you, cheering you on from the shores of light. Embrace this connection, for it is the ultimate proof that the spirit is immortal, that justice is perfect, and that we are, forever and always, held in the loving embrace of the divine.